Good afternoon. I think speaking after the lawyer and Asian community and all of you is kind of hard for a small agency like Somali Youth and Family Club to stand and have its say as well. My name is Hamdi Abdulle, and I'm the director for Somali Youth and Family Club, which is a small organization that works mainly with refugees and immigrants from East African community. This includes Ethiopian community members, Kenyan community members, members from Sudan, and also from Greater Somalia. I thank you all for this opportunity, and I thank you for your time listening to us and providing this, opportunity of sharing what we see in the community at this building with King County employees mainly. It is important that there is a connection between the county employees and the county representatives and also the communities at that level. Mainly the community I represent are Muslims, but it's not that all Muslims are wealthy, or it's not that all Muslims have the same capacity to reach their potential at any given time the same way. It is exactly the same as Asians, because not that all Asians, because we say that Asians are more affluent than us, which is true, but not that all Asians are affluent more than us. Somebody was sharing with me that the Cambodian Asians are not any different than the rest of the, of the refugee community. May I ask you all to close your eyes a little bit and see the picture of a refugee family and sincerely see who you see and what they look like. I bet if we do that, everybody will see a family of color, not a white family. And I'm saying that because through my experience here as an immigrant, as a refugee, we believe that when we come here, we're just neutral. We are not affiliated with neither Republicans nor Democrats. We are just refugees that are seeking for mercy, for support, and for help. But then, through the time, we find our position in the community. We have lived under assumptions that when we come here, we will be like this, or we will be like that. We will vote that way, or we will vote that way. We are probably the source of one group, not the source of the other. And that is why the judgments that we see are happening, because we need to understand where the root of the cause is coming. We wouldn't be here if our countries were safe. We wouldn't be here if the weapon industry is not selling the amount of weapons that they're selling to the world to feed their luxurious life, while our children back home are also starving. And when we come here, we start another struggle to assimilate, to go to school, to live that dream, the American dream, which is hard. I want to speak a little bit about the effect of the executive order in our homes. It's nothing but toxic environment. In King County, we support healthy family, healthy homes, healthy this. But at the same time, from the other side, we see that healthy home is not just cleaning your house or putting those toxic things away from the children, but when the parents and the family leaders lose the resilience to bounce back from those kind of effects, then they live in a toxic home. When families are separated or not reunited, the house becomes toxic house. Love, let's talk about love. What is love? I think you all love your children, and you all love your family members. And I love my family members, and I love my children. And the president loves his family and his children. I don't believe love is different, or it takes another measurement when we even talking about animals. They might have short memory when something happens to their children, or when they die, they might forget easily. But the love is the same. And it looks like this executive order has no consideration for anything, has no consideration for humanity, has no consideration even for the constitution of this country, the law of the land, which nobody is above it. I would also say the justification of discrimination against certain Muslim nations on grounds of terrorism is prescribed by the higher authority, and it is unacceptable. Our district judge, James Roberts, ruled, for example, that the Washington Attorney General Bob Ferguson was right when he decided that certain executive orders are not going through. This has given us sense of hope and sense of balance, and understanding that there are checks and balances sometimes that work. And I applaud here to say that these are the real people that we count on when it comes to who is doing their job at any given time for all, not for some. Sometimes I wonder what caused 9/11 and why 9/11 event is a Muslim event. It's something that Muslims did. While I was in my house, not knowing anything about it, and when I cried as any American cried. Why it's a Muslim work? These are the fundamental questions that we need to ask each other. I don't think that all Muslims are even Muslims the way this government sees it. This government has given the medicine that they were supposed to probably to give those who did this heinous act. They are giving to others who are innocent. And then you ask yourself, what is the logic then? Why we are saying that America is the first country in the world and they are civilized and they know human rights and all this and all that? Of course, yes, it's the first country, it's civilized country, but not all people are the same. Not all people think the right way. What we have seen in our county is a little bit different than many counties. Our executive, Dow Constantine, is different than many executives. He's a great man. Our governor is a great man as well. We live in a state where we are blessed, honestly. Having those, being called this sanctuary state is a part of the blessing, regardless of the limits that they might have. what is it then my community is doing, and what is their share of the work? The Somali Youth and Family Club, which is a small organization, is not like a very powerful organization, or it's not a wealthy organization, or it has no capacity. The community came here as a poor community, as a needy community. But then we realized that, you know, no hand washes your face the way you want to wash your face. That's why it came out. It came out because of the disproportionality that exists in our schools, in our health, in our education, and in our housing. That's why a group of parents have created the Somali Youth and Family Club and came together and seek for relationship building, to bring people on board, to listen to us, to hear our story, to show that we can do better than anybody can do for us. That's how we organize ourselves. With this executive order, we have partnered with a group of Muslim young people who call themselves Eat with Muslims. We have done series of 6 events where we have invited people from different backgrounds to come together and talk and share. Who is this Muslim people? What is the difference between you and the Muslim? Well, the Muslim people are Muslim people, but they're not any different than the Christian people. They're not any different than the Buddhist people. It's just the way we probably perform our religious duties might be different. But in terms of a family, no family is different. We dance, we laugh. We have the same needs as any family needs, so we're not different. That is where we came, like, how do we counter this executive order? That is the only way we can, that's our weapon. Our tool is to reach to people, to invite, to create dialogue and discussion. Here in the United States, you will see that you're sitting in the train and nobody's talking to nobody. You're waiting in a list and nobody's talking to nobody. People are not talking to each other, so we started talking to people. Hi, how are you? And then, oh, okay, hi, how are you? And then the next thing is a smile and deeper conversations that really perpetuate, more understanding about who we are. Honestly, we are victims back in our countries, and we are victims here in the United States. I want to take an example of what happened to me right in the James Street. When I was standing at the light, a white middle-aged man stands and he talks, and I'm looking at him, and I thought that he's asking me something, so I pulled down my window. And all he said was cursing me left to right and asking me to go back to my house. The only thought that came to my mind was, he was a white man, yes. A middle-aged man, yes. He shouldn't be saying that to me, yes. But was he a refugee himself? Was he a refugee himself? Do I know that? No, I can't. Because every white male is not considered to be refugee, even if they are refugee from somewhere in Europe. That's how the color divided us. And that's how we want the color not to divide us. The humanity must bring us together. We all know the history of this country. And we have to do better than the history of this country. We cannot go back to the same old. I think we have nice, wonderful platforms. We have people with heart, who want to hear our stories, who want to come close to us. You have seen the woman march here in our streets in the city of Seattle. all this give us hope. When I was coming to United States here, there was hope. Even though I waited 6 years to come to join my husband with my children, there was hope. But now, the hope is fading, and it's up to us all, to bring hope back to this country. My friend asked me, Hamdi, what do you feel about the future? I said, we are in the same boat. And honestly, I mean it. We are all in the same boat. Whether you affiliate with whatever you want, we are all in the same boat, and we need to swim together. I thank you very much for listening to me.